We're going to start a live broadcast. What you got? Got 2 minutes.
Oh, no, I'll wait.
You got 2 minutes. Go.
No, it's too technical. I'll wait.
Okay.
This is the case.
Who do we got on with us today? We have Richard Grace, who was on the Global Star Party with us last night. Bergman Scooter. James the astrophotographer. Good afternoon, everyone. Great star party last night. Tommy Hale says hello. Tim Myers says hello. Aaron Thompson. Hello, absolutely great show last night. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into it. I really enjoyed it. Michael Whitaker, good evening, everybody. Stefan Del Pra. Stefan, you need to send an email to Tyler at Explore Scientific. He's been trying to reach you. Tim Myers, Run Scott Run. Okay. Cameron Gillis says hello. Chris Larson says hello. Celtic Raven, I always get this messed up. Raven. Anyways, good evening, everybody. So excited for tonight. Hope everyone is doing well and safe. Chris Larson says, great show last night. I'm glad you guys love that. I thought it was awesome, too. Bergman Scooter says it was a great show. Cameron Gillis agreed. Excellent show last night. Thank you. I think kind of the last part of it where we opened it up, for the after party, I think was pretty cool. So we'll do it again next time. So it's coming up soon. And of course, today we have our special guest, Mike Weasner, who's a champion of dark skies. So he'll be on with us here on our FirstLight Chronicles.
Don't make me work on my birthday.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah.
If you work on your birthday, just tell me and I'll switch you.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Scott Roberts here, and we are very pleased to bring our special guest, Mike Weasner, on from the Cassiopeia Observatory in Arizona. So it's great to have you here today, Mike.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah. And it's perfect to have Mike on today because our topic today is going to be about how to get out under dark sky sites, okay, that might be nearby your home, and to do it safely, with the challenge of the pandemic, a lot of us have been staying at home, locked down at home or whatever, but it's still possible to get out to dark sky areas. And so that's going to be our topic of discussion for today with Kent Marts. Kent, I'm going to ask you to unmute here. And
Unmute.
yeah. I also do want to say thank you to all of you that watched the Global Star Party last night and for all your kind comments. It was a high energy show, and it was great, to have someone join us for the after party segment. That was Mark Helton, I think, was the guy that logged in. So, but remember, at the end of every Global Star Party, we're going to do the after party. And so what you do is we'll post the link to go to our Zoom waiting room. You'll meet with Kent Marts. Kent will check out your audio and video, and the deal that we ask is that you stay on topic about astronomy. It's not a political stage or a religious stage or any of that. We're staying on topic with the subject of astronomy, and how to further learn about the science of it, the adventure of it, the aesthetics of it. Yeah, I can't deny there's a spiritual aspect to it too, and all the big questions. But you guys know what I mean, and we do want you on the show. So let's get into it, gentlemen. We have this challenge. We've been locked down, and maybe some of us who love the night skies have been thinking about can we go to a dark sky site? Is it something where we'll be socially distanced enough to do this, and can we do it safely? So what are your thoughts?
I'm thinking, if you have a full tank of gas, you're good to go within, a driving distance of, an hour, hour and a half, easy from most cities, except up in the Northeast. You can hour and a half get you a pretty good distance away. If you have a full tank of gas, maybe or don't have a full tank of gas, probably the biggest exposure you're going to get is stopping at a gas station to get gasoline. Other than that, if you've picked a site that's remote, there's probably not going to be a lot of people out there, so you can, safely get out in fresh air and, and spend some time under a darker site. The problem is, how do you find a darker site? You can drive around for hours and hours on end, for nights and nights on end looking for it, or you can use modern technology to help you find it. Right, Mike?
You betcha. You bet.
Let's go ahead and talk about that, Mike. What technology you use to locate dark sky sites?
Well, before we get into that, let's back up a step. We kind of talked about why we want to go out to those dark sky sites. It's a therapeutic thing. And right now, with the pandemic still going on, it's really important that you need to have that opportunity to recharge yourself, to get reconnected to the universe. And let me give you just a real quick little story. Last year, March of 2020, just as the pandemic was really starting to get going, we had a star party here at our local state park here in Arizona. They were starting to talk about, do we want to close the park? Do we want to cancel public events? Mm-hmm. Well, we came in just under the closure orders, and we had our 5th anniversary celebration of becoming an IDA, International Dark Sky Park.
Right.
People came up to us during that star party that night and said, "Oh, thank you for having this event. We needed to get away from the TV. We needed to get away from Facebook and Twitter and hearing all this bad stuff about what was happening with the pandemic and how it was going to be really bad. We just needed to get away from that news and enjoy something." And
Yeah.
they said, being out here under this nice dark sky, we felt that. We just really felt more connected to everything. Yes, there were people there. Yes, we were socially distanced. Yes, everybody with telescopes was having to clean the telescopes in between people. But people so appreciated the fact that we were still open for that star party. The following Monday, no more public events. And it's been that
Oh,
way ever since.
and why was that? Why did they change their minds?
Well, because of because it's a state park and because the
Okay.
pandemic and here in Arizona was getting so bad, the government put out, said, no more public events. And they were starting to close down businesses
Sure.
and gyms, restaurants, bars, all that kind of stuff, cancel school and say, in class sessions. So it was just really starting to get going. And we just slipped in, 2 days before they canceled everything. So.
Wow. Well, it's nice to have that.
So it's really important that you get out there and want to do it, whether you're doing it for your backyard, if you have reasonable, skies with not a lot of light pollution, you can certainly get out in the backyard.
Mhm.
People were out looking at the Great Conjunction last month. If they had a good western horizon, they could see the three planets very close together recently with Jupiter and Saturn and Mercury. And of course, last month with Saturn and Jupiter being very close together. But if you want to go out and see the darker stuff, you may have to get away from your backyard a little ways. But as Kent said, you may or may not need to drive a long distance. So the question becomes, well, how do I find these dark sky sites? So let me share my screen.
Okay.
Bring this up.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I will say that it's been clinically studied that being out in nature, okay, will slow your heart rate down. It lowers your blood pressure. It allows good things to happen in your mind and in your body. And so what better way than to look up at a beautiful dark sky and to see the Milky Way and maybe see a meteorite streaking across the sky, and if you got a telescope or a pair of binoculars, you can just really go on this amazing voyage from right there, and it will do you good.
Absolutely. In fact, other people may even see that change in you. When I was still working, my last job at a big aerospace company out in California, we'd already bought our land here in Arizona. Mm-hmm. And I would drive out here with a tent and a telescope and spend a weekend when there was no moon. And I'd get back in the office on Monday. And my boss said to me, "Geez, that must be very therapeutic for you because you're different when you come back on Monday than you were when you left on
and
Friday."
You're all wound up on Friday.
And I said, "You betcha." Of course, what I didn't really tell him, part of the reason I really needed that recharging was him, because he was So when he gave me the opportunity to early retire, bye.
Goodbye.
Anyway, so absolutely, getting out under the night sky is really important. So there's a couple of resources that you can use, and I hope everybody can see this webpage that I have up. This is a website for the International Dark Sky Association. Its headquarters in Tucson, Arizona, which is about an hour's drive from where I live here in Oracle, Arizona. It is actually an international organization. They have dark sky advocates from all over the world, and these people are very, very active. They do lots of really good things to do public outreach about the importance of protecting the night sky. And we won't go into that in this session, and I've talked about that before. But this is a resource that you can use to help you find international dark sky places that have been officially recognized for two things. One, they've got dark skies, and two, they do public outreach. about why it's important to protect those dark skies. Now, some of the places you might think, well, they don't really have what I would call, quote, dark skies, but their public outreach is really what they're pushing to try to get people to recognize they do need to have better outdoor lighting. And you'll see that down here. So if you scroll down to the bottom of their website, down here under our work is a link to International Dark Sky Places. So you click on that link, and what it will bring up is a web page of all the different types of places. There's international dark sky communities. These are the places where they might not have those nice pristine dark skies, but they have good skies, and they're doing lots of very positive public outreach. Then there are the International Dark Sky Parks. They used to have a tiered structure for the parks where they had 3 levels of dark sky darkness, sky quality, and now they don't have that anymore. So they've gotten rid of the tier structure. But these are places that typically have anywhere from the Bortle 1s to the Bortle 3 or 4s. So these are nice dark sky places. International Dark Sky Reserves. These are places that are protected and again do public outreach about the importance of protecting the night sky. Dark sky sanctuaries, these are places out in the middle of nowhere, but again, they're protected and they want to keep their skies as very dark. Some of these might be big observatory complexes like down in Chile on top of the mountains, or islands out in the middle of the Pacific. A new category are these urban night sky places. These places might actually be in a city. The first one was actually in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But it's a park that actually has fairly good night skies. And again, they're doing that public outreach. So these are the places that you can go look for. So say that you want to go see, is there an international dark sky park near you? Well, you can click on the link for International Dark Sky Parks, and it will bring up a list of all of the international dark sky parks all around the world.
Nice. Oh, all around the world. Okay.
All around the world. So let's see, here's one in Hungary, Scotland. South Korea. This one in South Korea is kind of near and dear to my heart. A few months after we got the designation for Oracle State Park, a delegation from South Korea came to visit IDA down in Tucson and said, we want to visit an international dark sky park because we're thinking about doing that in South Korea. Yeah. So there was a governor from this area in South Korea, some university people, and some people from this particular Firefly Echo Park came to visit Oracle State Park. And I gave a briefing to them through a translator, which was interesting, to tell them what we had done at Oracle State Park. And one of the recommendations that I gave to them was take our application and use that as your template. Right. Well, when they applied, I saw their application. That's exactly what they did. They used our application as their template. They just changed out the wording. Of course, it was, Korean translated, but they followed my table of contents that I had prepared for our park. And so this almost is like a sister park to Oracle State Park. But there are all these places around the world, Scotland down in here. There's national parks, there's state parks. There's one somewhere, if I can find it. Where is it, Kent? Yeah, I'm not seeing it right off the top of my head.
What are you looking for? Oh, the Buffalo River one?
Yeah, the Buffalo River.
Buffalo River, right.
Yep, there it is. The Buffalo National River. Yep.
And I had a very small role in that application. guy named Bruce McMath out of Central Arkansas had a huge role in getting that done. And it was a lot of work, but the Park Service embraced it and really ran with it. And they have seen increased tourism because of it.
And at the time that one came in, I was the chair of the IDA Dark Sky Places Committee. And so I saw this application when it came in. And so let's go ahead and click on that. So let's go see what Buffalo National River looks like, their website looks like on the IDA. So it gives you a little bit of basic information. You might get some weather stuff, tells you where it is and who to contact if you want more information. You can also look at their application. So these applications typically have lots of information about that particular site, its history, the types of events that they do at that site, past pictures of what the night sky quality looks like, as well as sky quality readings. So you'll find those types of things in all of these applications for dark sky parks. You'll find it for dark sky communities. We'll take a quick look at that. So, here's a bunch of international dark sky communities, mostly in the United States, but here's one in Denmark. So these do exist around the world. And there's more of these applications coming in all the time. The curve, the trend for international dark sky places stayed very flat at the very beginning of the program, but starting in about 2014, it just really started going way up. We hit 100 places a couple of years ago, and we're probably going to hit 200 places, even with the pandemic, by the end of this year. So it's a very popular thing for places to get. It increases their visibility. It gets the attention of the local residents and the local businesses. So it's really an important program. But again, you can go find these places, see which ones are near you, because they're going to have pretty good stuff. And you might find places, information about who the local astronomy clubs are, what type of events they have. International Dark Sky Reserves can be a little bit of a challenge to get to in some cases. Again, these are really all over the world and very remote places in some cases, but there's also a few that are national parks or a combination of parks. Mm-hmm. And then the dark sky sanctuaries. Again, mostly in the United States, but New Zealand, South Africa, some other places, Australia. So these are really cool places to go if you have the opportunity, or get close to if you can't get on to the actual site. Urban night sky places, we've got two here. And one, where is that guy? Cave National Monument. Where is that guy? Oh, Northern Utah. Makes sense. Utah and Texas are two of the most darkest sites here in the United States. And so they have many, many parks and other areas in both of those states that are either have been or are in the process of becoming designated. So again, you can use this website to go look for places that might happen to be near you. The other site that you can go to is at lightpollutionmap.info. And this is a worldwide site. We're going to just very quickly drag around here, and you can see.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I mean,
this is a great site. Which one is that again?
It's light pollution map, all one word, .info.
Okay, I'm going to put that
in. And you can go up here. When you first go to the website, you'll get this little drop-down menu where you can select different types of data from different satellites and different sources of information. Mm-hmm. And one of the ones that was used for many years was this World Atlas from back in 2015. And so we'll go back over here to the United States. And so that's what that looked like. So if we jump down in here, let's see.
Trying to find Arkansas.
Yeah.
Go up, go north.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Straight up. Shreveport's due south of us.
There we go, Little Rock. Okay. So here's Russellville.
So keep going north to get to us. And left.
You see that big dark area right there? That's actually pretty
Here's the
close.
river.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, there's the river. So that was where that Dark Sky International Dark Sky Park was located. And so you can see that that place is kind of out here in the middle of nowhere. You know, yeah, there's some lights around the horizon, but again, it's got a pretty nice dark sky right in there. So if you happen to live, you know, in Clarksville, a famous little community, then you can not drive very far and you can get into a reasonably dark sky location.
That's
So
a
no
less.
matter, yeah,
That's less than an hour away, hour and a half away from Clarksville. Easy drive.
Yep. Now, something I mean, there's many benefits of doing this aside from us just being astronomers and we love the night sky. You know, there's your level of stress will go down. Your psychological state of mind improves. You know, there's studies of you know, if you're recovering from an illness, that you recover faster in nature. You know, this is something that you know is something to consider, and you know, it improves your immune system. I mean, there's losing weight. You know, there's things about keeping yourself more youthful. Okay, is also due to how much time you spend in nature, and you know, there's when you're stargazing, there is a I think it lends itself to have many of the aspects of someone in a state of meditation. Okay, because when you're looking through a telescope and you're relaxing, but you've got concentration of your mind looking at an object, okay, even if it's just for a few seconds, okay, you reach this point of flow that can occur, and this is what I call the astronomer's high, or being star drunk, okay, because you start really exploring. You start the triggers of the feeling of discovery comes over you, especially if you're seeing something for the first time.
absolutely.
But this experience of flow is something that, you know, anyone that's into health, they understand that this is something that you need. And so, you know, as you get into astronomy, if you're a beginner, you're just kind of starting all of this, you want to get into that state of mind more and more. And everybody that's into astronomy, they know what I'm talking about. They've been to star parties. They've seen people experience that first moment of that tipping point of flow as they are experiencing the night sky. And you know when that happens a lot of times because they'll turn to you, you know, like, Ken, I know that this has happened to you. Someone turns and they start asking the big questions, you know. Mike, do you think that there's life out there? How far away is this? Gosh, I feel so insignificant. These kinds of feelings that when you're out under the sky happen. But
Absolutely. And, you know, here in my background picture, you can see my observatory.
oh, it's awesome.
And when I'm out there at night, yeah, I'm looking through the eyepiece, I'm imaging, but I will always step away from the telescope. And this little top of the wall right here, if I don't know how well you can see, anyway, the top of the wall of the observatory is right at almost like elbow height. So I can just go up there, lean up against the
Hang
side
out.
of the observatory and look up. And yes, I will wave at people up in the Andromeda galaxy, astronauts up on the space
It's
station,
awesome.
fly over. But that's part of that connection to the night sky. And you know, during this pandemic period of time, you know, that's very nice to be able to go out there and do that. So.
And
You know,
it's needed.
You know, I was talking with John at the Amateur Astronomical Society of New York earlier today, and we were talking about you know, how do people in New York City use telescopes and the complete disconnect they have from the sky. And he recalled that in 2003, when the big Northeast blackout occurred, people panicked when they went outside and saw this giant cloud across the sky, and
All right.
they were afraid it was. He said I had neighbors ask me if it was aliens or was it a gas cloud, and they were panicking it might be poison or something.
That's kind of going the other way, kind of towards the stress level.
They had they had never seen the Milky Way. Generations of people in New York City have never seen the Milky Way. And
Right.
Mike, what does somebody, Mike, go to the light pollution map and let's go to New York. What do people in the Northeast do to find
They don't have to travel very
a
far.
little enclave? There's
really
ways to
don't.
do it.
They really don't. I have done astronomy events in not only in New York City. I gave a star party once at Central Park. Okay, of course, you can still see the planets and the moon, and if you know where to look, you can still pick out nebulosity. You can see the Andromeda Galaxy with the telescope. Or a pair of binoculars. You can also see the Orion Nebula. Now, you don't see the glow of the Milky Way, okay?
Nope.
But there are places towards the tip of Long Island where it's very dark.
Anywhere looking south off Long Island is going to be okay.
Yeah, and then if you want to go travel across the state of New York, there's the Finger Lakes region. There is dark areas that you can go to, and so, you're going to have to travel outside the city. If you live in a city like New York and you don't own a vehicle, okay, you'll have to find other means of transportation, maybe a train, maybe something like that. But then you have to think about the portability of what kind of gear that you're going to take out with you. But I will say something from a safety standpoint, okay? Because if you're going to go out into nature, you need to use the buddy system, okay? You need a buddy to be out there with you because things can happen. You could have your car could break down, for example. Having a cell phone access is good, okay? But you might go to some place where there is no cell phone access, So I do recommend being out there with someone else that can be with you, and if something were to, go wrong.
You trip and fall. You trip and fall and break your hip.
Trip and fall. If you're prone, maybe you have a heart condition and you have an episode. You need to be able to do something.
If you're going to go to one of those international dark sky parks, call ahead. They may say, well, we're closed because of the pandemic, but if you can still park, right outside the gate.
Yeah, right.
Perfectly okay.
It's absolutely just as dark on the other side of the gate as it is on the inside of the gate.
And here at Oracle State Park, we actually have what's called the remote area that there's a gate there, but it's open all the time. And so you can go into there and set up and do your observing, your astrophotography, and people do it. We've had people come from California to come to this remote area, and because it's a nice protected area. But you're absolutely right, Scott. You want to let the park know you're going to be out there.
That's right. Yeah, and you want to let friends know that you've gone someplace and those kinds of things. But
absolutely.
But there's safety in numbers. It's like anything else.
Yes.
There's safety in numbers.
So, okay, you're going to be out there with someone else, but you still need to practice that socially distancing activities. Wear masks, or my daughter has gone to some camping events out in the California deserts out there. And what they do is they all get a rapid COVID test, okay, before they go. And they quarantine for a day before they leave, and then they're out there, so they feel reasonably assured that they're in a healthy group, okay. But aside from that, the health benefits, the state of mind benefits, your creativity, just the feeling of freedom, okay, is important, and it can definitely get you out of a depression, and give you, make you look forward to the next day. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, well, that's good.
I can tell you, I look forward to getting out. I haven't gotten under any dark skies, and I certainly miss every broadcast. I talk about how I miss public outreach, and introducing the night sky to people. I really miss it.
Now, I know that you've chosen to move to a site where the skies are darker here in Arkansas. How dark is it out in the region
Okay,
you're moving?
so Mike, call your map up again, and search for P Ridge. 2 words.
Now, Pea Ridge was a
National Military
war
Park.
battlefield. There's
Yes,
a
sir.
museum out there. Yeah.
Yep, nice battlefield. Has a great hiking, walking trails. That ain't it. That is not it. Hit the return button.
AR. AR. There we go. I think AK is Alaska.
Yeah, it doesn't show me the states. in
Oh,
this
yeah.
list. There we go. That may be it. Nope.
You can probably find it easier,
Kent.
Kent. Why don't
Yeah,
you
why don't you
try?
bring it up? I'll stop my share.
Kent was dark sky back seat driving is what he was doing.
And he's still muted.
And he's still
It's weird. It's not finding it. So we'll just go manually to it.
Yeah, find the city nearby.
So
Cameron Gillis says he's got raccoons and rabbits in his backyard.
I see bobcats when I'm out here.
Yeah. Jeff
Of
Weiss
course,
says lots of
coyote.
coyotes seen in neighborhoods recently around here, Northern California.
did I share it?
Yes.
Okay,
What you should be looking for is Pea Ridge Military Park.
Yeah, I've got it. Well, so here's our office is right here.
Okay.
And we know that at our office right here, we can see 2 things at night generally, diddly and squat.
Oh, that's not true. I
it's
saw
not true.
Neowise from
Yeah, you can see Neowise. You can see the brighter objects. We
Sure.
see. We could probably, if we stayed up and counted stars, we could see 300 or 400 stars, probably. The moon and planets for sure. But it's just. Let's just see what this says. This says it's
Comparatively speaking, though, where it gets really dark, yeah, it's
Yeah.
deadly squad.
Mortal 6.
Yeah.
So not brutal, but Mortal 6. So I'm going to be up in this neck of the woods right in here.
I see.
So let's just click somewhere. Mortal Class 4, not bad.
Not bad.
For and the view to the north is pretty good. It's it's significantly darker. The view to the west is going to be good. There's almost nothing out here.
Mhm.
And we've actually had a star party last fall out here at the military park, and we were at the visitor center, and they want us to start doing star parties a couple of times a year, and then COVID hit, and that was the end of that. So when it all starts back up, we'll start having a star party there as well. And this raises the question, obviously this can't be an international dark sky park, but Mike, what could it qualify for?
So that's a full-blown military reservation or base?
It's a National Park Service.
Oh, well, if it's National Park Service, yeah, it's obviously, it's not going to be dark enough for an international dark sky park. It could qualify for an urban night sky place.
Right. That's
Right.
what I thought. I've talked about it with them, and they're game
It's
to
a
try and
pretty
do
quick
it.
drive from here. It is.
It is, yeah. So and then the place where we do star parties is at the visitor center right here, and we set up right in here. That's where we set up. So let's just see. Portal class 4. So
yeah.
a little bit darker than what my house is gonna be, but still not bad at all. I mean,
And if you're hardcore and you want to go for Bortle 2 or Bortle 1, it's still not out of reach. So
no, because we can come down here to. Let me find it. There's a camping spot right here. That's Boston. This is where John lives, right in here. Fitzgerald lives right up in here. Pettigrew, Boston, neck of the woods. I'm getting lost here.
And people are talking about all the animals they've heard at night.
Oh, I've told the story of. Let me finish this real quick. I'll tell the story of. I can't find the highway I'm looking for.
Even behind Explore Scientific here, when I was looking at Neowise, a big armadillo came out. He came out and looked at me, raised up, on his hind legs, and then I looked at him, he looked at me, and then he decided just to get out of there. So,
we this is not showing all the roads. I'm getting lost here.
Yeah, but we can see the general.
Anyway, so out here, just right in here, it's Portal 3, and it's pretty dark on a clear night. It's pretty nice.
Dark.
But what I was saying was, I've told this story before. Used to have a cattle farm. A couple of cows were very friendly, and they'd hear you. And if you didn't show up where they were, they'd come looking for you. And I was setting up by what we call the looking tree with the telescope, and I'm sitting there. And it's all quiet and not a sound. It's cold, and I screamed like a little girl because number 32 walked up and put her nose on the back of my neck and sniffed me. And, a 1,200 pound cow walking absolutely quietly walked up and I mean, talk about scaring the bejesus out of me. I was just surprised, let's say, when that happened. But it was a close encounter of the moo kind. But when you've been out there for an hour and a half and it's dead quiet and then that happens, yeah, that wasn't.
Okay, so guys, before we close out the show today, now if you're a beginner, you guys are listening, you got maybe your first telescope, you're a beginner, you've never gone beyond your backyard, okay, to go stargazing, what do you recommend that a beginner would take, to have a decent time? They've got their scope, of course. I would recommend a pair of binoculars, red flashlights, right?
And white.
Yeah.
Because of, if you get into a situation where you need to worry about, somebody coming to you or coming to try to find you.
Yes.
White light may be the thing that lets them find you quicker rather than a dim red light.
Yes.
So,
full tank of gas, check your tires,
Some food. Take food with you, food and water.
Yeah, water.
And if it's cool, take some beef bouillon or a jug of coffee or tea or, something to warm your insides up.
If it's wintertime, some hand warmers.
Even if it's summertime, unless it's just brutally hot, have a jacket. If you're go out in shorts, take a pair of sweatpants with you. It's going to get cool out there, and you're going to be surprised many times. I've seen people in the middle of summer out at Hobbs State Park freezing to death because they were in shorts and t-shirts, and it got a little bit dark, and their sweat started evaporating, and then it cooled off, and they were really cold. So,
and you're not moving around much, so you're not, creating some internal heat.
So you need to dress for the weather, maybe a little bit more than you think you should. I mean, all the time, I think that's the case. But star parties, you especially 3 or 4 hours, a personal gathering, you're gonna get cold.
Well, if you don't need the clothes, that's fine. But at least you have them. Okay.
if it's like survival, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Right.
You know, and if you take what you think you're going to need and then take a little bit extra. But chairs. I've gone out skygazing before and didn't take any chairs with me. Okay. That sort of makes it miserable for your wife who's out there with you.
It makes it miserable for you too. You want to
Right.
sit down someplace, and you don't necessarily want to open your car, because what's going to happen? White light's going to turn on. Okay.
Right.
So that's another thing. So
One other thing to bring, and I did this when I was making those trips from California out here to our land in Arizona, when I'd come out with a tent and a telescope. I got about a 6 foot by 6 foot piece of carpet that I could
Okay.
put down on the ground underneath the
good
telescope.
idea. Good idea.
I take
Down. If I dropped something, an eyepiece, it was easier. It didn't fall on something hard, a rock or something, and it was easier to find.
Fire
So I
ants
would
don't
recommend
crawl up your
something
ankles.
something that's hard, or a piece of carpet.
I don't like tarps. I don't like tarps because they're so crunchy and noisy. Make the investment of go to a carpet store and get a piece of end roll, or you can buy these manufactured ones at your big box warehouse.
Get some indoor-outdoor stuff from Lowe's or Home Depot.
I never set up a telescope without having a piece of carpet under it.
Yeah.
If you're on an asphalt parking lot, like at Hobbs State Park, and you drop something, no bueno, unless it goes onto the softer carpet. If you're at the Nebraska Star Party and set up and in a hurry, so you don't set your telescope up on the carpet for the first night because you just want to be viewing, and you drop your brand new, never used diagonal in the Nebraska sand hills, there's still sand in that diagonal to this day because I didn't put the carpet up, and I took it out of the box, I pulled out of the plastic and dropped it. And of course it went boink and stuck, and there was sand in it immediately. And so, that's the one and only time I don't care how big of a hurry I am, I'm putting carpet down. Because
It'll also keep your feet more comfortable in the
True.
summertime with the hot ground. Putting a carpet down will keep your feet a little cooler. In the wintertime, just the opposite, because you're keeping your feet from touching the cold ground.
Here's something I thought. What do you take with you? Knowledge. If you've not set your telescope up in your living room or out in your yard and tried to find the moon or the planets or even a bright star that you can see, and if you haven't used a planisphere and figured out what's up there and how to locate stuff, your experience of your first trip is not going to be as good. You have to do preparation, just like anything else. You've got to build the knowledge up that you can take with you out to a location and have a great time. If you go out, but I'm not saying don't go out and view if you've never done it.
Prepared.
But try and prepare for it a bit. Prepare with knowledge.
Right. And I'm also going to recommend that you carry out with your car first aid kit, just to make sure you have it. So you got what? You got water. You got warm clothes. We recommended a 6 foot piece of indoor-outdoor carpeting. We recommended white and red light. We recommended having at least a buddy or a small group with you. If you're real concerned that you can't be as socially distanced, you may go the extra mile and get a rapid COVID test if you can get it. And what else would you do? I mean, you need a map. You need to know where you're going because you might go off.
Get there
the
before
main
sunset.
paved road. Okay, so that's
Go out in the daytime to check it out.
Go out in the daytime. Do not go out at nighttime. That's right.
That's right. Get there earlier.
Yeah.
Get there before dark.
Yeah.
So you know
Check
where
the
you
weather. Check
Now,
the
those
weather.
trips that I'd make from California, I would try to get here early to mid-afternoon, just so that I had time to, get the tent set up, get the telescope set up, have it out, start cooling down before sunset, so that I'm all ready to go when it gets dark.
Yeah, and
Jim Norwood recommends a bottle of scotch at least 12 years old. I don't know.
That's if you're not driving home.
That's right.
If you're in a car camp for the night.
Yeah, and if you're going to the desert or something, the alcohol will dry you out. Okay, so that's another thing to think about, and not let you see as well at night. Okay, which is another point. But
One
anyhow.
other suggestion, even though you may be going to a place where the facilities exist,
Yeah.
bring some toilet paper.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, this is, there's certain things you should always carry in your car. A small toolkit, jumper cables, even if you don't know how to use them,
Somebody else might.
somebody else might, but not have some. And
Yeah.
so you can still get a jump. I've got a couple of sets of clothes. I never take 2 coats out of my truck. I've always got a coat.
Yeah.
Toilet paper, a little bit of food, first aid kit. Those things we should all have in our car anyway, because you never know when you're going to slide off into a ditch on a snowy night and on a road that nobody comes by for 3 hours. And you've got to be prepared to take care of yourself. And so,
That's right.
there's all those things that you should just do anyway. But so many people, my kids would leave the house. It'd be 10, 15 degrees out. They'd be going to the store and they'd be wearing flip-flops. And I'm like going, what happens if we have to walk 3 or 4 blocks? Oh, we'll just sit and wait till somebody comes and gets us. I'm like going, okay, rely on somebody else to take care of you. That's a good idea. That's a well-executed plan.
Way to go. That's
Great
right.
idea.
Yeah, that's right. James, the astrophotographer, says if it's private property, get permission. Okay, you might have
True.
a visit from the police.
And if you do get visited by the police, let them look through the telescope.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's the best way to deal with law enforcement. If you're out with your telescope, is to let them see what you're doing, invite them to look through the telescope. I found that has helped me out a couple of times too.
There's a place in Bella Vista, a community north of us, where the old timers group of the astronomy club I'm in go meet, and it's in the cemetery, and it's very quiet. The neighbors don't bother you at all. There's nobody close to it. It's pretty dark, but every single time they go, they call the police department to tell them they're going to be there. Or if they go on one of the dams on one of the lakes, they always call the police department to tell them they're going to be there. And you know what happens? Policemen show up to come look through the
They
telescope.
show up. Yeah,
That's
Hey, it's
absolutely
gonna be a
right.
star party.
That's what they do. There'll be a policeman show up almost every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Book Davy says just get an Airstream and make it easy. Okay, I can't argue with that one. Yeah, it is nice to have. If you have a trailer, it transforms the experience. It really does, because you're bringing a little piece of your home with you, and
Or in
all
your
those
case,
creature comforts. In
in
your
your
case, too?
well, in
Yeah.
your case, you're bringing your home with you.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But well, anyways, I think that I think we're going to encourage everybody to maybe find that really cool dark sky site that you can go to, and do it safely, do it wisely, be prepared. But that is something that probably all of us could use a little bit right now. It is getting cold. It's winter time here in the States, but we are broadcasting all over the world, and some parts of this world it's summertime. So
Half of the world is summertime.
half the world. That's right. That's right. So we encourage you to enjoy and heal and get rid of that stress that's out there. So, but gentlemen, do you have anything more you'd like to add to this conversation?
Just get out there with, like I say, whether it's your backyard or get out and go to some dark sky location. Just get outside.
And
Yeah.
take a kid. Find a
Take a
kid,
kid.
take a kid. Take the parents and take a kid and introduce a kid to this. Teach them to not be afraid of the dark. Teach them what glorious things are up there. You never know what seed that'll plant in them, for their future. But take a kid. Take a kid star hunting.
Good idea. Well, great. Thanks, guys. Thanks to the audience. I want to let everyone know that we have, David Kipping, who is a researcher from Columbia University, will be on with us coming up on the 29th. So we'll have an Explore Now program at 4 p.m. Central for that. I'm anxiously awaiting for the 31st Global Star Party that's going to be co-hosted by Astronomy Magazine. We'll be celebrating the 115th birthday of Clyde Tombaugh. David Levy, who knew Clyde extremely well, will be reminiscing about times with Clyde and what he was like as a man and as an astronomer. Many of the editors and contributing editors to Astronomy Magazine will be on, they'll be talking about the magazine, and most importantly, we'll be talking about Clyde's major discovery, which is Pluto. And so it's all on February 4th, starting at 7 p.m. Central, and we hope that you're there. And don't forget, even at the end of that program, the last hour of that, we will have the after party, and I will give out the Zoom login credentials so that you too can participate. So be out there with your telescope, give us a live view, show us some images that you've made. Give us your astronomy experience. It's a great time to share and to do some educational outreach with us, and we'll see you then, and keep looking up, everybody.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
See you, Mike.
Bye-bye.